Jersey Guy Podcast. I'm Lewis, here with my boy Kenny.
Yo.
And of course, the Jersey Guy Tom.
What up?
Gentlemen, how are you?
How you doing?
All right.
Excelente.
I enjoy the swagger that Lou just had given.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah. He
Thank
was
you.
on point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm going to try to do that as best I can
Super
every time.
relaxed. Super
That's the way it's got to be, man.
Yes. But you know what? We can see that and sense it
Yeah.
with our pineal gland.
With our pineal gland, that's
The
right.
third eye.
Which is what we will be talking about.
Yes.
That was
pineal
good, right? That was a
gland.
good segue, right?
I
That was
always,
good.
I always see
That was
stuff
a blend.
on, like, of course, it's on social media, and most of the time it's Instagram. You know, it's always got, I try to put up the healthy stuff when I share stuff from our thing to our Facebook. So any stuff like that, meditation, anything like that, the pineal gland supposedly is your third eye.
Right.
And if
Well,
you know how to, you learn how to use it.
That's what the thing is. So now, the pineal gland is a pea-sized conical mass of tissue behind the third ventricle of the brain, secreting a hormone-like substance in some mammals. We happen to be one of those some mammals.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it
So
is.
is it a real thing or is it a theory?
No, it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
But it's what the definition of third eye, I think, is where
It's
the
melatonin production,
thing is. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
circadian rhythms, and potential links to brain health. Anatomy of the function, the pineal glands, a role in the melatonin production.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there. So that's where we get all that.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So again, it's
It's a
how
chemical
you can-
producing gland.
right. So that then
And it produces what chemicals? Is it just serotonin or is it several different?
No, it's I'm sorry. It was melatonin production and circadian rhythms and potential links. And here it says calcification. Excuse me.
Got it.
How fluoride, diet, and aging affect the gland, and whether
Wow.
decalification methods work.
there it is. So then it's
So I guess, you know, if you don't take, you know, because, you know, that's another thing. They talk about how fluoride, you notice how now fluoride is like, nobody's really for it now. They're trying to get it out of the water. They're saying it's really not good for you.
They say that, but how come all the kid vitamins have fluoride in them?
I know. That's what I'm saying. So there's
Like the
two
ones
sides
that
of the
the
story.
doctors prescribe,
They say the
they're
good
all
stuff,
have
and then
fluoride. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you actually ingest the fluoride, like
Right.
because it's supposed to. The
I always
idea
thought it
is
was a
that's
good
supposed
thing.
to
All my life,
fluoridate
we
your
grew up
teeth.
with it.
As your teeth are growing and getting enamel, your
Right.
adult teeth
Right.
are getting fluoridated,
Right.
supposedly, and making them stronger
Sorry.
and harder and less susceptible. So you
Well,
have a stronger enamel
so you remember we
as an adult.
You
as
remember
your
we
adult
spoke
teeth are
on.
forming. Yeah.
Remember
sorry.
we spoke on some of the things that
Right.
our country still has that other countries don't.
Right. About foods that we make in this
Foods
country
and
where they
stuff like
banned
that.
in other countries.
This is probably one of those same things. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? That it's falling now. It's coming out that it's falling into that. You know what I mean?
What the heck? Because I've been giving this.
Well,
to
we
my
could look
kid.
that
My
up.
doctor's
Well, but
been
that-
prescribing
yeah,
this to my kid.
Because, but it's so
You
I
know?
guess, but it's like anything else though.
Yeah.
How much of the bad can we deal with? Take
Yeah.
to get the benefits.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you see half the commercials you see on TV is like,
Yeah, because
take
it's
this.
not. That is true about the teeth. It does do that for your
Right.
teeth, but what else?
What
does
is it
do?
doing to you? Like, did it give you your ADHD?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Did it give
I
me
know.
my arthritis to the,
Yeah.
because of whatever genes we had, like, we're
Exactly.
probably mutants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's
Well, check
like,
this out. Neurochemistry and DMT. The debate over whether the pineal gland produces, I'm going to try to pronounce this, dimethyltryptamine. DMT. I'm probably saying that totally wrong. Which links to mystical experiences.
Right. You're right. So, like you said, the pineal gland, people have always said that when you learn how to meditate,
Yeah.
that's where your third eye is.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So that then now when you smoke weed,
Yeah.
well, back in the day,
Yeah.
it was people meditating, silence, sound, whatever things that they were doing.
Well, think about how when you're meditating, it's supposed to be like a super relaxed state.
Mm-hmm.
If
Right.
your pineal gland produces melatonin, then that's has something probably to do with what happens when you're meditating is it starts producing that chemical.
Exactly.
And you start to get that dream state maybe. And that's why you're able to, when you meditate, to get, because I tell you, I've done meditations before and like you get into some weird places. It's really weird, especially the guided meditation ones.
Right.
Like your imagination takes over so vividly sometimes.
Right.
That like you could see like they're like, oh, and you're in a forest and in the tree line, and you get closer to the tree line and you see a door in a tree and you open the door and you go into the tree.
Right.
And you're in a living room inside of a tree.
Exactly.
You know, like, and like you're there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's so weird.
And that's the whole thing. So
that's
then,
also kind of hypnosis too, a little bit is involved in there.
Right.
But it's voluntary. People think hypnosis as like, bark like a dog.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
Yeah.
Like hypnosis is very different. It's just putting you in this like dream like state where you're like you're like in a vivid dream. You know?
Right. So now it's how you get there though.
Right.
So that then like you know people that go to the gym, they say that they feel this almost euphoria,
endorphins,
because the endorphins and they're getting in that workout, and runners, they get the runner's high. You know what I'm saying? So all these things that's probably how it is too when we, if we learn how to meditate to the point where we're going to open up our third eye. You know what I mean? And I mean, dude, I'm going to tell you what, when they say spiritually that the third eye helps you see things, read people, you know what I'm saying? Feel yourself, that you can, like you just see people's official aura, like you see the color on their stuff.
You're seeing their energy.
Dude,
you're seeing their energy.
Exactly. So now how freaking cool is that?
Well,
you know what I mean?
What about that expression? I mean, I've been hearing this a lot in reference to this stuff when it says to let go. So let's say sometimes when I'm laying in bed and I want to go to sleep, right? I can find myself.
Sounds so Jedi-like.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
And then I just lay down. I'll go, all right, let's let go. So I'm trying to listen instead of one noise. I'm trying to find as many as I can find while I'm sleeping. And I have my mind just bouncing.
Yeah.
Listen, and then before you know it, you're out.
Well, don't they say that you should concentrate on the one?
Right, but doing that doesn't work for me because I still wander.
But then how did your tenacity?
So when I just let go and I allowed myself to have all my senses, just feel everything around me, and then just use it that way rather than try to focus in on the one and just let it all work.
That's wild. That's wild.
At least that's how.
Right. No, that makes sense. I hear you. So now
I'm sure there's more than one way of achieving that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe there is too, all day long. So now scientifically though, modern science does not support the spiritual interpretation of the pineal gland. It is primarily viewed as an endocrine organ that plays a crucial role in regulating circadian rhythms and sleep, like you said before.
Circadian rhythms,
right. So then, to me, doing the sound therapy, that would
trigger that too.
Trigger that,
absolutely. I'm sure it does.
And then, like I said, again,
Absolutely.
see, we're freaking geniuses and we don't even know it because we've talked about like this kind of stuff and other things. And it's wild how
everything's connected.
Everything that we say is so connected.
Because it doesn't mean you have to do the one thing.
But
you could
isn't
do all of them, or you can a combination of them.
Crazy though how certain things like sound like again I've done some of this spiritual stuff. I've gone with Suzanne, we've gone together, and like they do like this, like we went to this one that was like a shaman one, and they like bang the drum, and that vibration at that tune gets your brain to start secreting like those
endorphins and all that
from your pineal gland,
right?
You know
So there you go, right?
So that's the whole part about it. There's something that frequency that actually gets your brain to produce that, which is wild.
Yeah, because that's what they say. We're on
not only your
rhythm.
body, but
along with meditation and that,
but your whole body too. If you're in, with your chi, right?
Yeah.
So when we go to, my instructor would say, use it, come from your chi, meaning get it from your center.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The nerd in me wants to know the scientific. I know it does that, and it's like it's like magic, right? But I want to know the scientific part of it.
Well,
like, what does
is
it do? Is it
scientific?
frequency? Your body just like
Just allowing your body to tune into what's around you is
But
really
the
what it is.
But that's the thing. The
You said
science
it's
isn't
force, man.
but the scientific
to
isn't the sound.
yeah.
The scientific is just that it's something there, and like I said before,
Yeah.
when you're doing something that you enjoy, so like you go to the dojo, you know, when you're reading something, you know what I'm saying, you're catching up on studying on
I listen
whatever.
to my music.
Yeah, me, you know, when I'm driving, like it's just those things, those moments that we have that are our quote unquote meditation, and that's what science says is what brings those things out. Because that's what makes us happy. We're in our happy place when we do those things.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the
Right,
scientific.
but don't forget about but don't forget it. Right, so then going back to the spiritual part, what is with meditation and
Right.
you know all the chakras and all
Right.
that, and focusing your energy.
Yeah.
I believe that's pretty powerful stuff because if you can get into that, you know, find that spot,
Yeah.
and channel into that. They say it's almost as if you're able to know what it's like when you're going to die, kind of thing.
Right.
The closest thing you'll get to.
Okay.
As far as if you can get your meditation to that point, you might be able to experience that experience.
Yeah, see, then I'm like, I don't know.
Remember what I was telling you earlier? I was telling you there was a gentleman on Instagram, and he was talking about how when you pass away, you could either get recycled, go back, you know, follow the light, you go through, you get recycled,
Reincarnation.
and then you come back, or when you get there, instead of going towards the light, turn around, and you'll see the universe. Then you could decide to go home, and it'll take you right where you're from, as far as your home is concerned.
Brooklyn.
The way they said it, I'm like, well, that's pretty freaking wild.
Right.
Who knew that you could turn around when you're there? Like, oh, wait a minute, excuse me.
Yeah.
Nice light. Hold on a minute.
Hold on, I want to go this way. Yo, right. I'm going.
I heard that.
But that's
too.
pretty cool, right? I mean,
I heard that theory too about turning around instead. Don't go into the light, turn around and go home. They say.
So
But home like where your origin is before being here on Earth.
yeah,
right.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
and
That's exactly
Meaning
right.
meaning that as much as in this theory says
came from stars, man.
As much as there is as afterlife, there's also a before life that we don't know of.
Fair
Right.
enough.
And
That's
how many
that
times?
theory.
And how many times did we go to the light
Yeah, exactly.
and
get
recycle? How many times have I been recycled?
Yeah. That's probably why you're crazy now.
Well, now you
Yeah.
know. Now you know.
It would
Now you
explain
know.
a lot
Turn
of
around.
shit.
Now you know. Now you know. Turn around.
Yeah.
Turn
Yeah,
around.
this time. Remember that. Pay attention, bro. Turn around.
Don't forget that shit.
Yeah, keep your
You
head on the
heard?
swivel.
Everyone listening.
Yeah. Keep your head
Turn
on the
around.
swivel.
Right.
Yeah.
Look around.
But it was like a positive thing. It was like you could do that. You could go towards the light, which you know you'll see people that
Right.
you've missed and lost and everything, and then you'll just go back into the. At least that's what the whole
is
idea
it
was.
then that the
That's
pineal
one version.
gland-
That's one theory of it, right? So I'm sure there's many different. You know,
Right. So that then now is it a matter of you being so in tune? Like, is it only the people that have actually, what we believe to have opened the third eye that can do that?
no, not
That can turn
necessarily.
around
When
and
you
look?
die, you know, most people never do that stuff. I'm assuming when they pass away, you know, or they have a near death experience or something, and they come back and they can tell you what they saw. Right? It's basically going to be something that would happen if you were meditating. You know, think of it that way.
Right. But I'm saying, so like
But
now,
they didn't have to.
so you haven't had that experience, that near death experience, thank God, you know. So then now,
I don't think
when
so.
it gets to that time for you, you know, then is it that, are you still going to have, I guess we'll say, this conversation in your head, in your spiritual mind?
Yeah, my
then-
views have not changed since as long as I've been alive.
That you'll know to turn around and look the other way.
Oh, now that it's in my mind, I think I know.
That's
now.
what I'm asking. Like, you know,
I might do
like,
it.
I don't know if I would be able to, you know, say, you know,
I hope so. I hope I remember.
Yeah.
I hope I don't go towards the light and go, oh, I forgot. Yeah,
Like,
it's
oh man, I didn't want to make the
turn
left.
around.
Right?
Wait. Do I get a do-over?
Yeah, hell yeah. Wait.
Be like, hey, if we can recycle, I can get a do-over.
Can I get a transfer? I want to go that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Just imagine that.
Get on
though.
the wrong
red.
bus.
Oh!
That's the way they.
You know, that's right. Monty
Right.
Python.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh my God, that's great. But yeah, you know, so it's the gland. It's a gland.
Right.
We are
in the brain.
If we go by what you guys were just saying, we are the beings, and we're just
Mysterious in its own
this,
way.
Yeah. And we're just in this meat bag right now for us to, you know, to
move
live
on
here.
to the next place.
And now
This is just a step in life.
but now
Which
if we
also
recycle-
lines up with simulation theory. That this
How?
place is the simulation. That we place this where the life that we're in. Because but there's before life and afterlife,
Right.
that means we dip in here and then go back out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, which kind of is like a simulation if you think about it. That this, so it, because so that
could go that
theory
way,
that you're talking about, there's a theory that adds to that where it's not really the simulation theory, but it's like we live in the fifth dimension. Our souls, our essence, we are the soul. Like, and then we go here to experience life in the 3D world and blah 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 blah, and then we learn our lesson, and then we go back out, and we've like changed. Like, you know, we're different now. We're improved, or
Hope you are.
or worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is like heaven or hell. Like you're a worse person or you're a better person. And not hell being or heaven being a place.
Well, I don't know.
Your mind, you know, you're in a better place now. You know, you've improved or you've digressed. You know what I mean?
What if
As a
everybody
person,
is
so then
in,
you go back here. You say, then you go back and be recycled because you know what? I'm not improved. I got to go back. And you know,
well, so then what if everybody's here?
it's voluntary.
Everybody that's here, we go by your theory right now.
Yeah.
We all have our third eye is open. We're there. We're meditating. We're those.
We just
people
need to
or whatever.
know how to use it. That's all.
No, that we all know how to use it, and this is here. This is our, like you said,
Simulation.
This is our
Yeah.
simulation.
We'll go to
because
improve.
we're all linked.
Yeah.
So we're all trying to be. This is our penance.
Yeah,
This is us trying to do
we're
the
here
right
to
thing.
improve ourselves.
Yeah, and we have the third eye power.
That's an interesting
We
theory.
just don't have.
It's
we
not
don't.
really
We're not
heaven
good
or
enough.
hell. It's just like
Right, it's that purgatory.
It's like you know, I haven't improved. Still got to work on myself a little bit. You know, I did this in life and I never like got past it. So I'm gonna go back.
Right.
I need to learn another lesson. But then you might have another problem. You know,
You might have something else that might happen to you in life. Yeah.
But then now here's why I have a problem with that though. Only because so many things change. So many things. We evolution has made us different creatures every generation. I'll say. You know what I mean? So like, you know, for us, when we would just like, you know, ride your bike and fall off the bike and it's like whatever and
Get up,
get back up.
back on
Now
the
the
bike.
kids are like, no, Lou, Tom, don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your feelings. Talk to me about your feelings. Meanwhile, for us, we're like, get the fuck out of here. Get your ass up. Go do whatever. Not on everything. I'm not saying, you know, we talk a lot about them, you know, when people are feeling, you know, in their feelings and you need to express and take care of yourself. I'm just saying, like, you know, for little bullshit. Like, you know, things what we would, you know, some people consider bullshit. Others think it's a big deal. You know, is this our penance? You know, in that third eye, like you're saying, like this is our simulation.
I look
so
at
we
it
haven't
like-
gotten over that, you know?
Yeah.
If you're sent back again, if you go back again, it's because there's something that you didn't accomplish in the last one.
Oof.
So you get to something where you actually
Okay.
became a better person, maybe.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, do you
Giving you
feel-
another chance, so you could either go somewhere else because listen, they've had near-death experiences of people who've tried to kill themselves,
Right.
and when they described what they saw when they came back, it wasn't good. No, it was bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why?
it was dark. It was dreary.
Because they took their own life.
Right. It was sad. It was the worst depression you could ever have.
But then that goes to, I think, what I had asked earlier, maybe differently. Maybe I didn't only in my head. But anyway,
Like, you
so
know.
then the last thing you were feeling, going through, dealing with, that made you commit suicide, is that's what you're seeing. Because you left on a bad note. It's like you turn around and you fall asleep in a bad mood and you're going to be, you know,
Well,
have
if you're
angry
already
dreams.
depressed and you're already suicidal, it's just
Right. So then when
it's
you're
all of it. It's
right. So
really
now when you're
not that. It's
recycled,
one thing at one time.
right. So when you come back and you're recycled, you come back that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You come back with that mental, with that feeling, that idea. This, what I'm
So
saying makes
you're
sense.
right. So hopefully you learn, right? And you come back.
Yeah.
And look, we're not going to really know until it's time, right?
Right. Oh no.
I do believe-
Or
We will
we're not
move
gonna
to
know.
the next
And
step.
if
There is
if
another
the
step.
atheist is the correct theory, then you're not going to know. You just
Yeah,
go,
you're not gonna
and then
know.
there's going to be a
Oh shit! I shouldn't
Well,
have turned around.
if we believe in dimensions and all that other time,
yeah, no, but
who's to say that when you do die, now we graduated to the next dimension, which is the next step or another type of life, more spiritual.
Yeah.
It could be described in any way when you think about it, right? It's interesting to figure out. I do believe something will happen. I believe I'll see people I've lost before me and my animals, all that.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember dying. But maybe I'm going to try this time. See what happens.
No. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I don't know, Tom, you messed me up with that theory, bro. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I put it out there. Now I just
it's not like
and but so again, if this is and it's like we're saying spiritually, that the pineal gland, is maybe that's the key to everybody being healthy.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like
Maybe.
That's what it is. Like part of the simulation is us, you know what I'm saying? These are the things that we
I think it's good to, meditate and stuff like that.
Right.
Like it's healthy. Studies have shown like it's like help people even physically, like with their physical health because it reduces stress and all that.
Yep.
It absolutely works.
So that's like
all that
really,
stuff works.
It actually does lead to physical health. A healthy pineal gland.
Yeah.
So meditation or
listen,
whatever,
if you can if you learn how to do, so think of where that thing is in your head. Not only do you have to now practice to try to figure out how to use it, right? Because first you got to figure out how to do that.
Right.
So that alone has to be hard, right?
Hell yeah.
Right?
Because none of us really feel that we are ever not. I'm talking about us right here. We don't ever feel that kind of relaxed. We don't feel that we've reached it yet.
I think maybe we have in certain things, like you said earlier.
But and that also talks about like enlightenment, right?
Right.
What the Buddhists talk about, like you have. Is that what we're talking about?
Right. Going in that direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
then that's opening that third eye. That's supposed to be.
Is that like that's supposed? It's like a state of being,
right?
Like enlightenment, like
right.
I don't know what that is. That's
But
like opening the pineal gland all the way, like
right, exactly. So now here's what the wild part is. Now I'm seeing more.
Is it supposed to be like a feeling, like a high, or is it just like this knowledge?
It's just a knowledge.
Yeah,
it's a knowledge because now I've seen more monks. More monks have come to the mainstream. A lot more shamans have come up into the mainstream.
Right.
Is it just a hoax? Like these guys just trying to make money off of people, or are they really giving you that? Like I follow a monk on he's a younger dude. He's not even an old guy. And
I think I know
everything's connected, man. The universe is connected. We're connected to the universe.
That's what he says.
Maybe you might have shared stuff.
I think maybe
You say if you put the energy out there, if you think about the negative things all the time, that's all you're going to attract to yourself.
Right, exactly.
It's like so everything you're in control. It's just a matter of learning how to steer your
that's
ship.
Basically,
right?
what this guy is saying. Yeah, this particular monk, and there's more of them coming out. There's more of them being the positive. Or trying to give you that positive thought process. He's a monk that I follow on.
We follow one as well on so our
the young guy. He's a younger monk guy. Or you talking about because there's a
he does he tells you about how you should
there's
how to focus and if you're going to do this or that. Right, he's plain and straight about it.
Yeah, because there's a couple of shamans that I've seen too.
Really good.
That are pretty cool.
Here's something I want to read to you guys.
Okay.
Because I was always trying to describe how I feel.
Right.
Spiritually.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
People who are spiritually minded tend to suffer from anxiety and depression more. You know why? Because their eyes are open to the world that is in need of repair. They literally have an increased ability to feel the emotions of people around them. That's exactly on the money of how I feel.
Yeah.
So
like that's being like an empath as people.
I feel.
Yeah.
I can get emotional on the drop of a dime. If I think about something that's, has to do with the planet or whatever.
Right.
It just.
You're an empathic person.
I try. Well, I believe I am.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. Now. No,
in some sense of the word. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I just notice things now, and it hurts you when you think about it, and you're like, oh man, you can't do nothing. You're powerless. You know.
Yeah.
It's just like a frustration almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I get it.
So, but that's what I'm saying about what we're talking about now. You know, your spirituality, you're the one's control. You have to steer it. So if you go negative, that's where you're gonna be. If you go positive, or try to stay in the middle. But that's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do the best you can. Hopefully, you know, at the end.
Yeah, you come out better on the other end.
You feel good about it or whatever. Hopefully, you.
Yeah, because the one thing I haven't been able to find was, if scientifically there's a way to get that pineal gland up and pumping. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you could do. There are actually YouTube videos on there where they tell you how to meditate and what to do in order for.
Right. No, that's meditation. That's more sort of spiritual. It's not like you go to the doctor. He's going to turn around like, bing, smacking your forehead.
Well, what does it produce? What did it say? Melatonin. What else? What was it?
Serotonin.
And
yeah, but right. So then it's just you taking pills.
Dopamine too.
Right, but it's just you taking the pill or that medication over the counter stuff. It's not that the scientists could turn around, like I said, and pin you in the forehead, and it's gonna be like, now it's open. Now these are the things that you do. This is your physical therapy to make this stay happening.
I find the best time to do it is when I'm sleeping, because I'm laying down. I can close my eyes, and I just, like I said earlier, I was focused. You focus in. Don't you ever feel like when you lock into something, and then the next thing you know, you don't even remember that you fell asleep, right?
Yes.
And then when you wake up, you don't realize it. You remember what you were doing before you fell asleep, right?
Yeah.
But your mind, if you try to focus it in and not fight against it, and just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least for me, anyway, because we're all different. We all have to figure out our own way of working that out.
You know what I started doing? Right. I started hypnotizing myself to sleep.
Really?
I do a guided meditation. Well, it's kind of like a guided meditation. In my head, I go, my head's relaxed. My eyebrows are starting to get heavy.
You're talking to yourself.
You know how they do that during like a meditation?
Yeah.
My elbows are starting to get loose, relaxed. The muscle fibers are loose. I say it to myself in my head. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like you actually start to relax, and then falling deeper into sleep. Right. You can actually meditate yourself. It's crazy.
Right.
It works.
Yeah.
I started doing
what I'm saying.
and
whatever
it works.
There's so many different ways you can do it, right? That's a great way to do it. That's all.
I never even. I don't think I'd be able to do that for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like you say,
it's like a practice.
You can't listen to that sound. It's too soothing for you. Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
just
the thing. Maybe you have to.
My shoulders got all relaxed.
Hear past it.
I'm
try to
serious.
hear past it. Let it be on, but try to hear past it as well.
Well, I mean, I want to go to like the sound therapy with the bowls. Like,
I did that too.
I want to do that. Right.
I think that is something else. That sound does that frequency does something to your pineal
Absolutely.
gland. It does something.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? And there's a scientific. That's why I think when people are skeptics that they don't understand, like it does something to the chemical production in your brain. It activates it. It does something.
Well, and that's the thing. I
bugged out
scientific. There is, and it's a literal scientific because like people
that
don't
sound
believe
must have a frequency,
right? It has to,
and that's what remember Lou was talking about the sound frequencies. We were talking about that in another episode.
Yeah, because it was so that right now, like science already knows,
and your brain adjusts and it goes to that and focuses in.
But science already knows that there's a tone, a sound. There's sound waves that flow through space, even though there's no atmosphere in space, but it's just like there's sounds, there's these tones that we can pick up, there's tones, there's sounds, vibrations here on the planet, and when we are off physically, we're not right. You know what I'm saying? We're in pain. We're feeling whatever issues.
The universe is not in balance at the moment.
So that at that moment for us, everybody in particular. So then going to
and then you feel everybody else because somebody else could throw you off too.
Exactly right. So then now if you go to these sound things, to the sound therapy. Exactly. Yeah. Somebody's on an E, on an A minor, and you're on a B,
right?
And it's throwing your whole vibe off. You know what I mean?
And sometimes, right? And then there are times, right? When think about it. You get through it without a problem. Like
sometimes you can.
You just it's not. You notice that it's not even affecting you. You don't even hear it. You know, you're able to tune it out. Maybe that's the part of it that's pineal gland where you're able to have that sense.
Yeah,
versus
it's funny because us talking about this
it's easy to get annoyed, right? It's easy to get pissed off and allow yourself to get like
right.
like right away.
Choke somebody out.
Then having the discipline to try to focus in it when
right. Like my cousin right now, she went and she had knee surgery. My cousin Jessie, Giselle, and she's having a hard time to get up and walk around and to move around and all that stuff because it hurts.
Yeah,
right.
But I believe that she's not trying hard enough. Only because I know her. You know what I'm saying? And I know that she's capable. Like she'll get up and go with it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I know that she can get up. I already told her that. I was on the phone with her and I was like, yo, just get your ass up and start walking up and down the stairs. Like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't like for you. She's gotten so comfortable.
You got it fixed for a reason.
So now.
Bear what you got. You got to bear it out now.
Right. So now for me, because she is, a spirit, not like religious, but she is a spiritual person,
right.
And I'm wondering now, doing the sound meditation, her meditating,
she can
her
relax,
doing that stuff,
would be
and
much better for
being
her.
able to actually move her knee during a meditation. You know what I'm saying? During, a sound bath, during something that would end up getting, because my cousin, she's intuitive as a motherfucker.
Listen,
you know what I mean? So I'm thinking that she could, get to that pineal gland and, make herself
get in
better
with the universe. Man.
Right, exactly. And she can, dude. She
channel
can.
in.
Because she's a pain in the ass. She knows what I'm talking about her, too. So she's going to probably call me later.
We do it to our own selves. We're stubborn, right? We all have our own thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a person who's able to do that easily, maybe that one time they're not being able to, and that one person who has a hard time is able to get them to see the other way to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
All different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
It takes different things, different life experiences.
Right. Well, we're all different.
Everything
but
comes into, I think you have to take all that into account.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. I think we're all different, but the same. It's just a matter of the process to get to that point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that Tom thinks about it, the way that you think about it, the way that I think about it, we're thinking about the same thing. We hear the words, but all the words sound different to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? We understanding them different. When we're in school and we're learning something, I didn't understand when the teacher said that's black and it's got lines on it. And then you heard lines on the black and then you heard color what? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's all those things that we think, that it's like, oh, because like I said, there's conversations that I'll have with you and you're like, wait, what? What the hell are you talking about? And Tom will be like, oh, yeah. And you're like,
vice versa. Yeah, but it's the same thing with all of us.
You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So then
for sure.
That's why, again, yeah, man, that's not a bad idea for us to really probably tap into this pineal gland. Like serious shit, man.
Yeah,
I
why
think
not?
that this should be something that everybody gives a shot at, Like I said, scientists, they can't disprove anything. They don't believe any of that stuff.
Because science is different. They need fact. That's the whole thing about science.
And so
there's
no
science behind it, though.
Right.
You know what
There
I'm
is.
saying?
There
It's
is.
just
I think it's coming
in your brain triggers.
I think science is coming around
you
though, because they're starting to realize there is something else.
and those
something else
chemicals
going
that
on.
it produces mixed together.
Right. Yeah, because it's the endorphins that help you do better. When you're feeling better and, those endorphins kicking, like I was saying earlier with Tom, the gym heads, people go to the gym and they have that, that they get to that point where they're just, the what I said, the runner's high, the endorphins that are pumped out. Yeah. You look at the people that are super thrill seekers, they're, the skydiving, the just all those crazy sports, the downhill racing, and, the BMX guys that doing all the crazy tricks and stuff on the bikes and shit. It's like all those things. That
the adrenaline junkie
that gets it in there, and that's their meditation. Think about half those.
Well, yeah, they're zoned in, right?
Yeah, because a lot of those guys,
that's their thing. That's their groove.
That's their happy place.
Right.
When God forbid, but when they get hurt, they were in a great moment. They were in a good place in their head most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they're doing what they love to do, and they heal fairly quick.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not just, they're looking, they've already gotten in there, they're doing the physical training, they're doing all the things that they got to do to get back out there because that's where their happy place is. So now their body's kicking out all those, all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? For them to get back out there, to go and do all the stuff that they love to do and get back in it.
Same thing like the runner's high, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's exactly that.
That's crazy when you get that second wind.
Yeah.
It's a wild thing.
30 miles
all of a sudden
in.
you're just like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that never happened to me.
Really?
never
Well,
got-
I never for running me either. I never did
I'm
it
not a
for
big
running.
running
I've done it,
person.
but it's
I've run a
happened
few miles.
before.
I could, I've done that before, but I'd rather just
I haven't run in
Yeah.
years, but yeah.
do the cardio.
happened.
But I could bike ride.
Walk,
See, no,
bike ride.
I could bike ride. I can't
Yeah.
do the running. The
Yeah.
running,
Running's
yeah.
But I get the same thing with bike.
I could, I'm just not a big fan of it.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Eventually your
Yeah, no.
endorphins just kick in. And just,
When I was a kid, I had that. But that was bike riding through the 5 boroughs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's literally uphill going uptown into Manhattan and then downhill coming back down and coming back into Brooklyn. You know what I mean? It's insane. But I had that second win. Granted, I was young and your body doesn't really feel that kind of whatever.
did you ever go to Staten Island too?
No, because
that's
I didn't
hills.
have dude. No, I didn't go because to go over the bridge was
with
Verrazano.
You can't do it with a bike.
No, not on the Verrazano. Not then you couldn't. Then now to get onto the ferry, well back then to get on the Staten Island ferry you had to pay. And a lot of times I just had net in my pocket. So.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't gonna make that happen. Until I got older. But then by that time I was.
I didn't know the Verrazano Bridge you couldn't cross.
Yeah, no, not on the bicycle, or by walking or whatever. No,
I know the George Washington Bridge you can.
GW, yes. I never went over to GW though. No.
Not that far. That's really far.
No, because so when I went up into Manhattan, I would go to Spanish Harlem, so I would make the right, not the left.
Could you bring him on the subway?
Yes, you could take your bicycles on the
So
subway.
if you really wanted to, if you did want to go to Jersey, it wouldn't be that bad. You just take the subway to to
Right,
the
and then
to
GW.
just get off.
GW and then just get out because it's right there.
And then just ride your bike in Jersey.
Right, yeah, you could. Like
You go to
now, I
Philly,
would be able. I would just do that. Yeah, I would get off.
Back
on
then
the-
there was like nothing there.
Yeah,
in Fort
no,
Lee.
then-
now it's nicer there. There's a lot of stuff in Fort Lee to do, but
Yeah, no. But see, that's the third eye.
yeah.
Because now you're gonna sit there and you're like,
I think if you're in tune with your body
right.
and your mind and you're in a good
Yeah.
place,
It's
you'll
another
have
thing that
those
opens
moments.
up the pineal gland.
You'll have those.
Yes.
You'll have those.
The
right. You'll have those moments where you're zoned in, and you have those moments where you're not in tune with whatever's going on. But then you figure it out and you just work through it.
Yep. Yeah.
But
you have to. And I think you're right. You're 1,000,000% on that one, bro. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Listen, I know I keep saying it. I've been doing it little by little for me, when we've talked about meditation in the past and, just that getting to that relaxation, however way it is that I get to it. Yeah, it's harder than I thought it was going to be, bro.
it's really, that was the thing too for me too. That's why I was saying to you earlier. I said, okay, if this way's not working, and they say to let go, right? Meaning not to try to channel or to. I was like, okay, let go. So I just lay there, listen to everything. Your mind starts to, you feel it bouncing around, but in a good way,
Right.
because you're focusing. You're reaching out almost in a sense, and you're hearing all the other different things that are going on, right?
Right.
So now that's like and I'm out. I'm cold.
Right.
I'm sleeping.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I know it's working. So
For me, because I can just fall asleep. I can just
well, that's
walk
great
to
too.
the
If
house
you
and
go,
just
times
lie back.
she falls asleep like that.
Yeah.
As soon as she hits the pillow, out. My brain is on overdrive. My brain is already. I have to because my mind is active. It's just
Right.
all over the place, even when I'm sleeping. Now, if I'm super tired, I'll crash. But I'm tired, but my mind is still wandering. I have to focus in and do what I was saying earlier.
That's wild.
To kind of just like, okay, just let it go and submit and go to sleep.
Do you need to do the same thing, really? Like, I know you said that you have like a sleep apnea, not apnea,
Insomnia.
insomnia.
Yeah, but I
So-
have sleep maintenance insomnia, so I don't have trouble going to sleep.
Okay, it's
I
staying asleep.
I wake up and which is why I
Now, as soon as you wake up, do you find yourself that you're thinking of too many things? Like
yeah,
Lou
my
does?
brain just activates.
Really?
So you couldn't go right back to bed and just lay down after that. See, I can. I can do.
My brain just goes, "You're on," and like
That
it
sucks.
Now
It's gradual though. It just like warms up like an oven. It's like
See, maybe that's one of those things. If you would do meditation,
it's like a slow wheel winding up faster and faster until it goes to full speed.
Well, like Lou's saying, do you think that if you could
some
meditate,
type of meditation
that?
you might be able to do for it.
I should try. Well, I need to. You know what though? I just started doing this when I was saying that meditating to sleep. I'm gonna try to start doing that but I haven't tried. I don't know why I haven't. But I only started doing this like sleep meditation a couple nights now. So but. I don't really wake up a lot now because I that's one of the reasons I have
I got
medical cannabis. So
whatever
that's
works
what helps me sleep like a baby every night.
Yeah,
Sit yourself up.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah,
works very well.
That's why.
Sure.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I think remember we talked on another episode where we said the more we get in touch, not only with ourselves, but with the planet, the earth, the natural things where we're able to, finally allow our instincts and things to do what they normally should do. Because you get away from that because of technology and advancement in life. And, so now you're a little reliant on that stuff.
Right.
Where if you learn to, at some point, learn those other skills while in that type of life, that's huge. Yeah. If you can do it.
Yeah.
I think we all do to some extent, some better than others.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like really seriously be super vigilant to make that happen. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna have my third eye. I'm gonna meditate and float.
Listen, try to just see if you get it to work for you first.
Right, but I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try different ways of meditating.
Remember, I remember we talked about this. We talked about this when Suzanne was on. Like meditating isn't always have to be your stereotypical sometimes just when you're mowing the lawn your mind gets in that meditative
that's exactly right.
And I haven't
you get in that mental state just by doing things.
So I haven't gotten
and you get into the zone of that
I haven't had a chance in a while. Just things have been kind of hectic for me, so I haven't had a chance to be able to find my one thing again, to be able to to sit and have that, that moment in my own head where I'm at that kind of peace. That's what I mean.
Yep.
That's what I got to start doing again. It's like, the bicycle's getting ready to come back out. Weather's breaking,
it's weather's getting nice, so that's good. Absolutely.
That's gonna be definitely.
I like to get a bike.
Get one, bro. And you know what? We could meet up. Blue and I used to go down to.
I gotta get mine looked at and see if I can.
Listen,
I definitely want to do it for sure.
Yeah, could be. Listen, I got a bike rack.
And then we can meditate together on our bikes.
Yeah, on our bicycles. As we're going on your lap.
And we could do Cartman Crawford on the go on the bike and talk to people on the bike trail.
And that's not meditation because then Tom will be like, "What are we talking about?"
Why not? Why can't we do both?
He won't meditate. He'll be like, "What's that guy wearing? What are those?"
I'll just be like,
"Yeah, that's great."
What am I looking at?
Yeah. And you meta. There you go. Oh, it took my picture.
You are looking at two men sitting in front of microphones, likely in a recording studio or podcast setting.
There it is.
There you go.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
It's awesome.
That's freaking great. But yeah, so with that, my peoples, appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes, sir.
Don't hurt anybody. Be good with the meta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Should I say goodbye?
Right? See if it says it.
You want to say goodbye to everybody on the podcast? Wait,
nope,
start
maybe
playing
not.
music
Yeah,
instead.
see?
well.
It's all good.
Fail.
Thank y'all for listening. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
Go vegan.
Holla.